Today's edition of Meet the New Member series, it's a district that could be a blueprint for what Democrats hope will happen to the rest of Texas. Democratic Congressman Pete Gallego won the 23rd district in 2012, turning it back to blue after a Tea Party candidate had turned it to red in 2010. Born and raised in Texas, Gallego graduated from college in just 2 years while working 3 jobs. I'd like to know how he pulled that off. After law school, he was an assistant to the state attorney general's office, later ran for the state house at age 28. More than 20 years after winning his first race, Gallego decided to run for Congress, edging out a fellow Democrat and former 5-term Congressman Cyril Rodriguez in the primary. Gallego went on to beat Republican incumbent Francisco Canseco in a tough general election, focusing on his roots during the campaign. Here's a clip.
As a young Latino, he wasn't even allowed to start school until he was 10 years old. But he graduated from college and he ran a small business, and he pushed his family into the middle class. His sacrifices made sure that my life would be better than his.
Well, joining me now is Texas Democratic Congressman Pete Gallego from the only swing district in the state of Texas. You really believe it's probably the only one that truly is a 50-50 district.
It is the only district that's a swing district.
So coming from a swing district, that means you do, to get 50% plus 1, you have to win than just Democrats. You have to win over Republicans. So what does that mean, for instance, on these budget issues?
Yeah, I mean, as an example, I mean, Ted Cruz carried the 23rd by about 6 points. I carried it by 5. So clearly people went back.
There were voters who voted Cruz and then voted for you.
And then voted Gallego. Governor Romney carried it. You know, what it means, I think, is that I have to work very hard to kind of find the truth somewhere in the middle. The difference between the Ryan budget, I saw how you average them out. I don't know that actually.
No, it wouldn't. That's what I mean. If you tried to split, that's my point. You try to split the middle ground and you realize, oh, whoa. Neither side could stomach that, right? I
think that's exactly right. But there's a way out of this. I just think have to prevail, and people have to actually come to a meeting of the minds. And frankly, there's something to be said for being nice to each other and being civil to each other over a prolonged period of time instead of just for a few minutes of every month.
So what you're saying is that this week, the president did his outreach last week, doing some this week. But you look, and these 2 opening budget offers, neither one of them look like political reality. And if you split the difference, it's not political reality. So what does the next 6 months look like?
Well, I think that to be political reality, which is unfortunate because a budget document, in a family, a budget document isn't a statement of
a vision.
Of vision. Yes. A budget document is what you're actually hoping to spend over a period of time. So I think the next 6 months, frankly, are. Being in Congress has been a fascinating job, but it's also been incredibly frustrating because of the fact that people are so intransigent, they're so set in their ways. But I think over a period of time, I'm really excited about the 70 or so new members of Congress who I think we understand that we got elected because people are tired of the gridlock. And so over time, I think we're going to have an impact both on the Democratic side and the Republican side.
How have you tried? I mean, I keep hearing this, that this new freshman class, which were 45 Democrats, 35 Republicans, so there was a little more, but fairly evenly divided, that you guys have. Do you spend a lot of time with these folks, with these House Republican freshmen?
Coming from Texas, I served in a chamber with a Democratic majority and a Republican majority, and the relationships were very much the same. And I think we're trying to do that here in D.C. in terms of getting along, knowing each other, knowing each other's issues, and we might question each other's decisions in terms of differing on the issues, but we don't question each other's patriotism. As an example, we respect each other's backgrounds, and we understand the need for diversity of opinion and diversity of thought, and we respect that.
Is the Texas legislature led in the way the leadership is done? Is it as polarizing as it is here?
Well, I will give you, I was a committee chair when the Republicans were in the majority. I was a committee chair when the Democrats were in the majority. And so the truth is that there's an effort to meet somewhere in the middle. You don't always get what you want
but you
in the majority party. It's the majority party here drives the train. It almost seems like everybody else is nearly just along for the ride, which is unfortunate because I think that there has to be a serious effort to respect the wishes of the voters. I mean, every voter in every one of those 435 congressional districts deserves a voice, and I think every member is entitled to a certain opportunity to participate in the process. It's not, I've noticed Congress is not per se a democracy in and of itself. If it is, it's a very controlled democracy. How's that?
What do you? Well, you want to say it's not a democracy. What do you mean by that? Just the way top-down leadership.
Absolutely. I mean, nothing gets on the floor unless the majority leadership allows it on the floor. So you don't have an opportunity for people like me who object to the sequester, who would actually like to do something about the sequester. As an example, we don't get an opportunity to vote or offer ideas on the sequester because nothing ever gets to the floor. Nobody ever has an opportunity to vote on those ideas.
Quick Texas political question. This is Democrats. When will the next time, how soon before they win a statewide office? Forget the idea of getting a governor, getting a senator, any statewide office. Do you think that 2014 is the year?
You know, when Rick Perry started and Kay Bailey started, and they were the first Republicans to break through, they broke through at a lower level, an ag commissioner and treasurer. I think that happens probably in the next, within the next 4-year cycle. You'll see Democrats start to break in. The Republicans.
And that's when you'll start to believe that it's a state that may be competitive.
Yeah, I think we're building on that now. You know, frankly, there were 74 Democrats in the State House and 76 Republicans in the State House only a couple of years ago, not very long ago. So there's an opportunity for balance there. We just have to work for it. And frankly, our issue is turnout. If we could just get people to turn out to vote, it would be a very balanced state.
Very interesting. Pete Gallego, good to meet you. New member of Congress from the state of Texas. The only swing district in the state of Texas, which is just unbelievable. We wonder what's wrong.
It's a great place.
Gerrymandered system. Anyway, thanks for coming on. Good to meet you.